Warning, personal opinions, satirical comedy, and spoilers.
Dracula, get your bitch ass out in the street and get me my money!
Yes, dear. Be sure to join ToonGrin socials. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm WHYBOY, and this is NERO.
This is the good one.
It is the good one. The good 80s film that we actually enjoy.
So, Reluctant Werewolf is the one I understand that most people don't like, and because WHYBOY and I are contrarians, like unapologetically,
We love it. It's so silly. It's just a lovable movie in that sort of sense.
for the record, we do not think it's so bad it's good. We genuinely like the premise that Dracula is such a petty man-child that he's gonna throw a wacky racers for all the iconic monsters.
Yeah, but then the werewolf contacts him, but they used to be like, I don't want to be in your race this year. And now he's left without a werewolf. But he does have that thing right over there.
I'd like to point out, he doesn't need the werewolf. He takes offense that something that he believes has been, because he's Dracula, so he's like the monster, right? So I think it's really funny where it's like, the werewolf's like, go suck a lemon. And then Dracula's just like, I could have the race. I could just do it as is. I have all these other monsters. No. And my blithering wife, who's very normal.
Who's just very normal and very dumb. In a delightful sort of way.
Begin! Dracula who casually uses space travel as a metaphor for beating her.
No, you're going to get a rap, all right. Pow to the moon.
80s. But anyway, Dracula needs a werewolf, so where's he gonna get one? Well, it's gotta be Shaggy.
I love that they crack open the book and it's like, the book says in 500 years, this is there's 3 consecutive full moons, and in a very particular spot, you'll be hit by magic moonbeams and it turns you into a werewolf. And then like Dracula's wife's like, oh, check it, dude. The book even says that this idiot could be the werewolf.
What kind of a name is Shaggy?
It says he's an American.
Anyone else? It's a great coincidence. It seems like in this one, Shaggy is a road racer and all that, so he's a perfect fit for the monster race. And he's got his pit crew of Scooby and Scrappy, and he's got his loving, doting girlfriend, Googie. Not a great name.
Honestly, an underappreciated side character in the mythology of Scooby-Doo, because, and you brought this up when we were watching it, where you'd said, I don't think we've ever seen Shaggy in a healthy, like, romantic relationship in anything, in any of the adaptations.
Yeah, that actually just sort of like took its place within it and just like was healthy from beginning to end. Like she was supportive, she was caring, and she was actually proactive within the entire run of the story.
Holy crap, can we talk about that? Like, after Dracula goes through all the trouble of sending the Hunch Bunch, which are his minion hunchbacks, he sends these 2 minions, they turn Shaggy into a werewolf, which, mind you, they botch the mission at least twice. They go through all that trouble, and then they have to bring Scooby, Scrappy, Shaggy, and Googie all the way to Castle Dracula. So then they do that. They go through all that, and then Dracula, still because he's a petty douche, feels the need to be like, you know what? I'm gonna screw up your car.
Yes, because Dracula doesn't want to turn Shaggy back into a human and all that. So all Shaggy has to do to basically get his wish, he has to win the monster race.
I like that the writers knew where it's like, Shaggy needs like a palpable goal, because when you really think about the first 2, there's really no goal at the end of Boo Brothers. Hey, so this is editing Nero, and I realized I really didn't speak in this last bit. It's not even that Boo Brothers didn't have an end goal. The end goal was to find the treasure. It's that the movie is just so bloated because it has so many little things going on that it just distracts from the overall adventure of finding a treasure. And then after that, they go over to Ghoul School. I guess the goal was like, I'm gonna help the girls win the volleyball game. And then after that, it's,
I gotta save the girls or their dads will kill me, which is something. But this one is a much more tangible, just sort of like incident was set up and now we got the goal of the movie. It's just like, I want to be back into a human, gotta win the race to become human.
yeah. And honestly, this is the funniest one. There's so many like fun, stupid kind of choices in the greatest way. Like when the Hunch Bunch are talking and Dracula shows up and they're like, Master!
What are you doing here? Aha! I am not here. This is my image transmitted by my new bat laser. How do I look?
It's just weird.
Well, because then when he turns off the hologram, his underwear falls down, which means did he go back nude?
I think that's just sort of one of the main joys of this movie. It's just so many like clever visual and just like well-timed humor to this. It's just a lot of slapstick humor between a bunch of stupid monsters and Shaggy and Scooby. And it basically does the perfect stab at the Scooby-Doo formula. Like we've discussed it many times. What makes Scooby-Doo Scooby-Doo? And that is, you take monsters that are threats and such, and you undercut fought them with Shaggy and Scooby, being the goofy ones. But now we basically turned it around a little bit, because these monsters are goofier monsters, but they are clearly threats.
For like the 80s, this is a very vicious Dracula for a kid's cartoon. Like at one point he threatens the Hunch Bunch, he's like, I'm gonna boil you in oil. And then one of the scenes later is one of them is sitting in a pot of oil and they're like,
But sire, pipe down.
Yeah, even though Dracula is a boob in this movie, he is a literal threat to Scooby and the gang. By that sort of like dynamic between them, now we were able to have Shaggy and Scooby do what they do best, be goofballs that undercut everything. And that just creates the humor of Scooby-Doo that is so enjoyable to watch again and again and again.
you know what this feels like?
What's that?
This feels like a progenitor to Be Cool Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Unlike the other ones where it's like, we're trying to tell the story earnestly, it's just very bloated. We're trying to tell the story earnestly, and then this B-plot invades. This one feels like, okay, we've passed the Rubicon, we've made it through. Scooby-Doo is goofy.
Bravo, too dirty, Blackwingo.
I say, do shut up and throw it, oh dear.
We could be goofy, we could just go with the story and trust that that story is enough to fill the time.
Like, lean into the idea that this is ridiculous. And I think that's what makes it work. And this one sort of feels like a slight progenitor to that, where it's like the Mook films, which get a little bit darker. Flat out, people try to kill them in this. Like, wasn't the Hunch Bunch pick up Googie and Scrappy, and they try to drop them in molten lava?
Yeah, there is actual threats in this movie. Obviously, no one's gonna get actually freaking hurt or anything like that.
No, it's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, but putting the gang in danger basically helps stakes and such, and it helps the comedy more when they basically undercut those stakes, basically get past them. Then the villains can be like, ooh, dang those dang meddling kids.
I feel like Hamilton Camp as Dracula is really the breakout performer in this. He did not come in half-assed.
He is such a delightful boob to be around. His pettiness breathes life into this movie no matter where he is.
Well, and that's why I think Dracula's fantastic in this, because he's such a man-child. He was full regalia in this, where he's like, no, I'm gonna lean hard into this with Count Dracula. Like, I'm gonna own every scene I'm in. And Dracula has the funniest line deliveries, the best facial expressions. His resentment towards every single person around him is so amusing.
And then he also has his wife around him, who she is a beautiful, stupid straight man to him.
I said oily lead, get it?
Get what?
Stay with me, I want to be alone.
Like, the only negative about the movie in general would just more be like, because it is sort of a racing story, after a while, some bits do tend to drag on, as they are trying to fill out the story by the end. It's not as horribly paced as just sort of like, you know, Ghoul School or Boo Brothers, but it does have points where it's just like, a race is going on for quite a bit, and there's not really much differentiating between each one of the legs of the races.
Give credit where credit is due, though. When they do the different legs of the races, the fact that they're open to allowing the characters to do color commentary as though it were an actual race occurring allows for it to feel, for all intent purposes, it feels more real. It didn't take the lazy man's way out. It didn't just show us footage of the cars moving and that's it. They actually went through the effort of being like, we got these talented actors, let's have them do like color commentary. And then, you know, they sprinkle that in with the iconic Scooby-Doo level of like, throw in some pun dialogue. There's where Dracula will make like a zinger and his wife won't get it, and then later she'll chime in and be like, oh, I just got that gag you set up like a minute ago, and he's just like,
Her brain is running on empty.
At the most, like, simplest level, Reluctant Werewolf is just a super fun movie.
it's the best one. It feels like they finally evened out. Boo Brothers, oh, you're a bit all over the place. You get to Ghoul School, oh, you're starting to have some, there's a horrible pothole in the road.
Reluctant Werewolf just sped over that pothole and just went onto the sunset.
We should end this with the montage of all the times Dracula looks like an utter boob with wildly inappropriate music attached to it.
Our star, our love, Dracula.
Thanks for everything, all those special things, the stolen moments shared when we were unprepared for anything. Walking in the park, that sudden summer storm.
Hey boy, is this the Transylvania choo-choo?